The stream may not be streaming tonight, the internet's down.
Why?
We're up, so I'm not sure.
Well, here, make sure we don't get charged.
I didn't mail the check.
I know.
I took it away.
I felt so bad for that guy.
I know I did too.
Yeah. Huh? Short one. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I'm used to it, believe me.
Jim, good to see you.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
Yep.
the rain, and now 6 weeks if we keep this up.
Yeah. Believe it or not, we had plenty of meetings for plenty of years without a city manager.
Like I said, if it rains every day for 6 weeks, it'll be going. But my experience is, hey,
Yeah,
it's gonna rain.
10
It goes
minutes,
all the
it's
way
over.
around us and-
Yep.
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 And that quarter inch was gone by probably 2 o'clock this afternoon. So
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Peacock,
Here.
Councilmember Hartle,
Here.
Councilmember Lay, Councilmember Womack,
Present.
Mayor Weinkoop.
Here. All righty. Jim, would you do us a prayer?
I'll be glad to.
Great. If you wouldn't.
A moment, give everybody an opportunity to sit down. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. Thank you for the people who have come through our meeting. Thank you for everything that blesses you and each one of us. We wish to say that our little town is doing well and we want to continue it that way. Thank you, Lord, for all our opportunities. In the name of your son, amen.
Amen. All righty, thank you. Oh yeah, you got to turn that on. They couldn't hear you. Is that on? Hit it and see if it's on. I don't know if the, yeah, okay.
We didn't hear the prayer. Want to do it again?
We trust you did a good job.
Hallelujah and amen.
All righty. First, we're going to do the voting delegate for the Florida League of Cities Conference. I guess there's got to be a voting delegate for the Florida City Conference. Who's going now? You're going, right?
No, sir.
Okay, you going? Okay, I'm going. You're going.
No.
I'm going. Okay, so we got to nominate somebody? Okay, so I nominate Jim Peacock.
No. I was going to nominate Joe. He being the mayor, the obvious choice.
I need a second.
I second Joe, yeah.
No, oh, he's second Jim Peacock. Oh, we're voting on that. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All against?
Hey.
Okay, you got it.
I already gave you my eye, I'm sorry.
You got to always be first.
He did give you the side eye, though.
Okay, so you're our voting delegate. Okay, I'd like to present Daniel. That she's coming from Habitat of Humanity, and she's going to do a presentation for us to explain what they do and if and when how we can help. If you want to go ahead and you can roll that down a bit if you want. These guys are a wonderful operation. I invited him to speak to everybody.
All right, thank you guys so much for having us, or me, here with you tonight. Habitat for Humanity Lake Sumter. So what you see on the screen here, we say that we have global reach and local impact. So many people have heard of Habitat for Humanity across the nation and across the world. So the image that you see shows where all of the work is happening in the world, globally. But each affiliate, which is what we call ourselves in the United States, which you can see there in the blue, We are all separate organizations, but we operate under a federated model. So we're all working collectively together. So as our name suggests, we specifically are focusing on serving Lake County and Sumter County residents. We have a local governing board. We focus on raising funds and volunteerism locally. So everything that we do is with the intention of crafting the programs and services that are needed and necessary for the residents of our local community. But we have this broader vision and mission that is collectively shared amongst the Habitat for Humanities, both in the United States and across the globe. So it gives you a little bit of background and history. So this is our service area specifically. That's Lake County and Sumter County put together that you'll see on that map there. The Habitat for Humanity mission is to bring people together to build homes, community, and hope. And our vision is a world where everyone has a decent place to live. So in this service area, we have that combined population of roughly 560,000 individuals. And of course, that's growing daily, as you know. This is a very fast growing area. People want to be here because it's a great place to live and work. And we also serve 20 different municipalities, which you are one of. So as we look at providing services for the families in those communities, we want to make sure that we're reaching the people in need, and we're also bringing people together who want to participate and be, building a better community for themselves and those around them. So this is a little bit about what we did this past year. So this is the Alston family. So they recently purchased a home through our homeownership program in Leesburg. She works for Munn's Air Conditioning, and those are her two little kiddos who go to school in Leesburg. This past year, we built 16 homes for families to provide them a homeownership opportunity. We also repaired and did some critical rehab to 40 homes in the two-county community. And we had 60 students that were enrolled in what's called our Youth Construction Academy. And so I'll share a little bit more about each of those programs. So the homeownership program is the program that most people think of when you think of Habitat for Humanity, going out onto a job site, somebody, pounding some nails, probably doing a bad job because they've never worked construction before. But that image that you see is through homeownership. These are, once again, some of the households that were served this year in Oxford, Leesburg, and Tavares. The homeownership program is not a giveaway program. It's one of probably the biggest misconceptions of Habitat for Humanity, that homes are given away. They're not. These home buyers are just like any other buyer, but unfortunately they don't have the income to be able to buy on the traditional market. So what the homeownership program does through Habitat for Humanity is we build a sustainable and affordable product that has an affordable mortgage. And what affordable means is typically that someone is paying no more than 30% of their gross income towards their home. So really the only difference between someone building a home and selling it on the open market and Habitat is how we do the financing structure. And it's layered with some subsidy, so that a family that is paying that first mortgage is something that they can afford on that monthly basis for their family, and then still have enough money to, of course, spend in the economy and save for education and invest in their family and their future. So to be eligible for the homeownership program, you have to make enough money to qualify for that affordable mortgage, but not too much money that you don't need the help. Which is really 80% of the area median income and below is the qualification. You have to have a target credit score of 640, and you have to have a willingness to partner. Habitat's a very public-facing organization. We have individuals and volunteers who want to give, so you have to be ready to participate in that. The Preservation and Repair Program is another program that's really essential here in Lake County, that a lot of residents throughout the two-county area who had homes but didn't have the resources or weren't physically capable in keeping the integrity of their home. And so they were either going to become displaced, which if you don't know anything about housing in Lake or Sumter, there's not a lot of places for folks to go once they become displaced from their home. And so what we do is partner with them to help put the integrity back in their home. It's really about the health and safety of the house. So think all the bones of the system, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, are really big things in Florida. So that's what we do in partnering with these families. They already own that home, and they're usually extremely low income. So they don't have anything to give towards it, and we're raising money on the front end for them. The Youth Construction Academy is something we're very proud of here locally. We have a relationship with 5 different schools in the area. So South Lake High School, Eustis High School, Leesburg High School, Wildwood Middle High, and the Villages. charter school. And what happens is upper level students from these construction programs, they come out and their curriculum is a Habitat for Humanity job site. They build a home over the course of the year, getting experiential learning opportunities, learning how to be a good employee, and potentially if this is a career path for them. While that's happening, of course, they're producing output of housing, which is what we do. So it's a really great program, and there's a lot of students that graduate annually from that program and go on and do good things in the community. We also have our Veterans Housing Initiative, which kind of integrates into both preservation and repair as well as home ownership. We always are looking to make sure that we are serving the veterans in our community as well as engaging them in the volunteerism and ways in which they would like to participate in giving back to their community. So in Umatilla, for example, one of the major projects that we did, it's called the Veterans Village. It was a neighborhood specifically for veterans and spouses of those who have served. So that was a very successful pilot program, but we continue to serve veterans through both of our other programs. This is a neighborhood we're working right now on Tavares. So this past year, we built our 300th home, so that was very exciting. This neighborhood itself is for 55 and up. It's a cottage community, so these homes are 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 720 square feet models for seniors, which is also, of course, a huge thing here in Florida, to be able to have somebody stay in place and be able to age in place in the home that they're in and be able to maintain the affordability of that home. This is just 2 pictures of some of the homes we've built, just to give you a little idea of what they might look like. Depending upon the municipality, they might have a garage, they might not have a garage. The sizes of the homes range from 2-bedroom, 1-bath, the small model that I just spoke about, all the way up to a 4-bedroom, 2-bath that might be 1,400 square feet for a family. So that's a little bit about Habitat. Ways in which individuals participate with us, of course, volunteerism. We have students from Montverde Academy that come and participate with us regularly as volunteers. We also have individuals who give because they want to see the investment in their community and the families that Habitat serves. But locally here with our municipal partners, one of the biggest things is looking at the resources that you have. Sometimes it's land. You might get something that comes back to you, well, we could sell it, or hey, maybe we could give it to Habitat, we could build a home on it. We could have some of the community residents participate in that project. And then, of course, we have folks who advocate for policy for affordable housing and support some of the things at the state and local level that help make it affordable for all of our residents to reside safely in homes. So, do you guys have any questions for me?
Do you guys buy any homes?
We do.
You
We
do?
will
Okay.
acquire homes, of course, if it makes sense financially, to then be able to reinvest and put them out into the community again to sell.
Yeah, it's kind of tough right now, yeah.
You take donations or accept donations for building material?
Yes, all of the above.
Are you looking for used or new, or does it matter? Or as long as it's in good shape?
So as far as building materials are concerned?
Yeah.
So we will take, so for building materials, usually it depends what it is. So that's kind of a question mark. It would have to be assessed as to whether or not it's something we would use in new construction. But we do also have 2 resale shops that we sell home goods as well as construction materials, and that generates revenue to then go into our mission again. So, usually we're able to take anything, and then just depends what it is, how we're going to use it, and how it will then be reinvested in the mission.
If a person chooses to say XYZ Trust Company to donate to them, say, hey, want to give a financial contribution to them is that a way to do it, or your local block company, or
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll date myself, the old CBS Builder Supply, but things like
Sure.
that.
If you have some connections, feel free to talk to me. Absolutely, we do build stick frame. So, block is not something that we're readily using. Other habitats build block. It just depends on the local affiliate. Yes, we need trusses. We need, all the normal things that would go into that home. Mm-hmm.
I've often wondered if Habitat has a campaign to buy a truss, build a roof. You can't build a whole house, but if I got a truss for you, and I got 20 other neighbors, and we got a roof for them.
Yeah, no, actually we do. So what you're describing is called like a gift catalog. So it would say, okay, $50 for not box of nails. I mean, nowadays, but you get what I'm saying. And then this is how much it is for a door and a window and a single truss or the whole truss package.
That gift catalog's online?
It's not always online. It is on some Habitat affiliates website. But I could show you that. We have it in our resources.
I was seeing the models that you were showing, the two homes. Just throwing my 2 cents in. I run into a problem with gable ends for insurance. I would think you guys want to build homes with no gable ends.
Yes, we
To
tend
keep
to
the-
build more hip roofs intentionally because of the insurance, but some of our
Yeah.
models have different variations of the elevation. So if we're building 4 houses side by side, we don't want them to look identical. So that's where sometimes we might change things
Yeah,
up.
it's like 30% off on your insurance.
Yeah. Every dollar matters for the families that
Mhm.
are going into these houses.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anybody in the audience like to ask a question? Oh, got one. Come on up. We got to get your name and all. Yeah, we have to know
You
your
have to
name,
use this bad
address.
mic.
Yeah, sorry.
You can stand in the bad place.
Yeah, we just got to know your name and your address, and then you speak.
Gail Young, 15020 Thoroughbred Lane, Montverde. My question is, how do we find out about these 2 resale shops and how to donate to them?
Good question.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so they're located, one is in Eustis and one is in Leesburg. And so on our website, which is habitatls.org, the addresses are on there. habitatls.org. I'll tell you later if you can't hear me.
Danielle, you do know we feel offended in South Lake that we don't have an app store to contribute. So
You know
I'll
what?
just let you
We
know
had
that.
one in Groveland, but it closed after or before COVID. So we still own that building. It's just a rental, and there's daycare there now. So.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
So we feel ostracized, you know. You got Leesburg and north, but nothing in the south, you know.
Oh, all right.
People were very, very sad when we closed that store. We had some shoppers and volunteers that went there regularly. So, yeah.
No, you guys do a great job for the community, and I'm really proud of y'all.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No, thank you for coming. Alrighty. Move on to the citizens' questions and comments. Does anybody have something they'd like to talk to the council about that's not on the agenda? Come on up. Alrighty, we're going to move on then. The town manager's on vacation. I asked Anita if you have anything you'd like to speak about.
Yes, so I passed out before the meeting on your table these town manager evaluation. So if you could complete that and get it back to me in 2 weeks on the 23rd. If you want an electronic copy, just let me know. I can email it to you, but I brought you hard copies tonight. So if you have any questions or need me to pick them up from town hall, I'm happy to do that as well. And then I think that's all I have unless you have any questions.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move on to our planner. If you would like to explain that, thank you, Sean.
Yeah, good evening to Mayor and council members. I want to save most of the time for an agenda item that we have coming up with the comprehensive plan. Tonight we're kicking off the comprehensive plan process, the amendment process, I should say, to that. As you all are aware, I've been talking about it now for a couple months. So I'll just kind of leave a lot of discussion up to that, to when we get to that point on the agenda.
All right.
Sounds good.
If you guys can't hear, just raise your hand so we can tell. That's all right. All right, let's move on to our Lake County Commissioner, if he's still here. How about
I
you?
happen to be here too, yes, yes. Put the other hat on. I think I'll let the mayor discuss
No, go right ahead.
what happened at the commission today.
You're welcome
We
to.
moved forward with today was hearing number 2, in a sense, with the continuation of the Ferndale ISBA, local service boundary agreement. I thought the meeting went well today. The commission voted 4-1 to now move that to its final hearing. Today was sort of the vote to advertise, but there was a lot of discussion, significant discussion at least. And we did have somebody come from I guess, what developer or property owner that was intended, maybe possibly thought that they were going to use the property for development, they did show up today to speak in opposition to that. So the important thing to know is that at the next commission meeting is the final decision on this. So if we need, if anybody's in the audience that's interested in attending, or this is an issue that's of concern, to extend the interlocal service boundary agreement to make sure it goes another 20 years. It's 13 years in this case to extend it. You need to make sure that you're at the meeting and you voice your opinion and express your support to extend that.
Do you have a date for that meeting?
It will be 2 weeks from today, and I don't, what is that day? You would think I would know.
23rd.
Yes.
23rd?
I was gonna guess, and I would have guessed correctly.
Yep.
So 23rd at 9 a.m.
And just in case nobody.
Can speak in your mic, please?
Just for the benefit of those here and anybody that's listening online, can you tell us where that's going to be? Where the chamber is?
Okay, yeah, good question. So that'll be at the Round Building, the County Round Building, 315 West Main Street in Tavares. Just go right in, park in the garage across the street, come on up. We're on the second floor. It's where the main chamber is.
Thank you.
Sean, I
Thank you.
know that you possibly do not know the agenda. Will this be in the front end, middle, tail end? for
We will
count-
most likely be in the front to be sensitive to people not having to sit there all day. Yeah, the only reason it might get delayed like that is if there's not a lot of speaker cards. So the more speaker cards, the more people that show up, the sooner it gets moved up on the agenda, because we respect people's time, you know.
Yeah, today in the last meeting, Sean got us up front, so it really helps to get people there. But today we only had maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 people at the most there, and we could use a lot more people there in the 2 weeks from today. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. You got to be ready to go at 9 o'clock inside there, and it's very effective when people are there. We're trying to keep Ferndale the way it is. It's really important to be there. You'll be out by 10:30, so should be no problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's not exactly a waste of time anyhow, because you find out what's going on in the county also.
That's true. You know, I mean, you can come every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and join me if you want. You don't have to just listen to it, because I know everybody listens to it while they're at work, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can come in person.
Sean, a quick question. This is the county's issue in this ISBA. It still has to go in front of other municipalities, right?
That is true. I think all the other municipalities, though, have indicated that it will be approved. I don't know the exact vote, but Mineola was obviously the big question mark, but they have indicated at a meeting they had about 6 weeks ago that
Oh, good.
they're going to be supportive of it. So it's now very important the commission passes this, and then the other cities will follow with their second hearings. Yeah.
In my view, the Claremont and the others didn't want to waste any of their time if you guys are going to not approve it. So everybody was waiting for you guys to approve it, and they're like, okay, put it on the agenda now.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's
And,
you're
so-
right. You're right.
And we got a really good chance of getting it through and keeping it the way it is for another 20 years. So,
Yeah.
If you can attend, please attend.
Yeah.
okay. Anything else?
That's the big news, other than just let me remind everybody, the land acquisition referendum is officially on the ballot. I'm not sure if I said that the last time, but that is officially on the ballot for November 5th. So maybe at some point later on, Mayor, we can devote a little bit of time to have anybody that has any questions in the audience to that. You know, I'll give copies of the actual referendum or information.
Oh, go
that they
ahead.
have.
You want to explain it now?
Well, so yeah, just in short, you the voters on November 5th will have the chance to decide whether to continue the land acquisition referendum that was passed by about a 75% vote in 2004 to acquire lands for natural resource conservation, potential trail use, public lands in a sense. probably in the range of somewhere between $50 to $60 million. It would be a renewal, so this is not a new tax. It would be at the same millage rate or less, quite frankly, than you currently pay right now. And those monies would be used to, again, fund natural lands like the Ferndale Preserve, Green Mountain Scenic Overlook. When you put $50 or $60 million into the sort of the mix when it comes to that goal of acquiring more lands for protection, being that we're at ground zero, us and Osceola County are basically the fastest growing counties in the state of Florida. You are able to, when you have that money as a county and you have support from the cities, you are able to essentially get a threefold, maybe even a sixfold increase in the way you're able to partner with the state. St. Johns River Water Management District, the Florida Wildlife Corridor. I think I mentioned at one point in the recent past that the new legislation that comes from the Seminole Tribe, the Gambling Pact. So when you go to the Seminole Tribe, I guess it's Hard Rock, right? They're all at Hard Rock? Yeah. If you gamble there now, that money, a portion of that money goes to natural lands throughout Florida. So there'll be a new source of revenue that will help us on a statewide level achieve that goal. But right here locally, when you have that money in the mix, you're probably going to get 3 to maybe up to 6 times the amount of buying power, because when we put in, say, $5 million, then St. John's can throw in, $5 million. You're able to, achieve some of those goals, all backed by the county's new conservation strategy, the plan, which kind of maps those areas out that are high priority for us to protect. But I propose later on as we get closer, that's November 5th, it's a long way from now, certainly make myself available to have any kind of question and answer session on that.
And that's the night we should have a steak dinner.
Exactly.
Bring it up every meeting, and it'll sink in eventually.
Yes, go vote.
Bring it
Local
up.
elections matter, that's right.
Sean, November 5th is not that far away because Christmas is real close to it, and Christmas is tomorrow, so be careful.
Christmas in July?
Yeah. Sean, on that, what is on the state ballot, when we have amendments to the Constitution, there's a required percent that has to be, is the county 51%, or is there a supermajority, or what do we have to have for this to pass?
We are not like the state where you have to have the 60% for the Constitution. This is just a simple majority. Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the council. Hey, Alan, you got something?
Not really, but I just want to say everybody's doing a great job. The town looks fantastic. The rain has helped a lot. I know everybody's going, no more irrigating every other day. That's kind of nice. We're appreciating that as your city. I'm sure don't like sending you big water bills, but you get them, but that's another story. But town looks good. It looks, I think when we have rains, it clears the air and it makes us even look a little bit more beautiful, if you can call it that. Settles the dust, and it's amazing how many wildflowers and everything wants to grow, weeds included, grass. So, but town looks great.
All righty. Thank you very much. Jim?
Nothing for me tonight.
All righty, Jim.
It's a quick question. Pickleball courts are being well used. Sunday, all the parking spaces were full, and there were probably 8 people standing there waiting to get to a court. So they are being used. Build it, and they will come.
All righty, Carol?
Well, just that, for on the sports court thing, you're right, and they are out there till literally the lights go off at 9 or 9:30. I did notice on one of the pickleball courts that the net was sagging pretty well. I don't know. Maybe somebody from the town went and fixed it, or more likely those who came out to play fixed it up. And that kind of makes me feel good, because it's like, all right, somebody else may be messing it up, but it's not incumbent upon us to fix it. They're stepping up and helping out so that they can play the pickleball as well. And I had the same thing with Mr. Hartle on the watering. I see that irrigation running, and I start to ask myself the question if we actually did budget enough for our water bill. But we'll swim that river when the time comes, yeah. And that's it for me.
All right.
This
Thank you.
winter's too hot to walk.
I brought up a last meeting or the meeting before about our water and lowering our water costs. And Paul and I have been going through the numbers, and it looks like we're going to be able to lower our water billing to the residents quite a bit. So, because we've been doing very well with it, with the extra housing that we have, and our new meters, they're about 3 years old, I guess now, are doing what they're supposed to, billing the amounts that we're actually using. So that's good. So we'll be able to lower the cost to the residents pretty soon. Another thing is, since we just passed 4th of July, for many years, the Guy family had a big event at their house every year after their parade that they did, and they would do a big fireworks show. And their grandson, Justin, called me up and had asked me if I thought the town would be interested in going together with them next year, because he was a little off this year with getting it all together, and going together with the Wayne Guy family and doing fireworks and doing a whole 4th of July thing. I told him that I thought we would be very friendly with that, and it would be perfect for us to start next year because it's our 100th year anniversary. So it's kind of putting it out there right now so we can start working on it and get it all ready to go. We're just wide open on how to do it. I didn't talk to our attorney yet about it. I'm getting that look. But anyway, we're gonna start talking about it now, and if you start thinking of ideas and where to do it and how to do it and keep it safe. So we'll probably have that topic 5 or 6 times in the next 8 months on the agenda, so we can all agree with what to do. As long as everybody's interested. You guys interested in doing that? Okay. All right. That's all I got. Let's move on.
You know, Mr. Mayor, that'll be kind of neat because, sidebar here, you listen to AM talk radio and everything, and it's like City of Orlando and Altamont Springs and Sanford, and that will be, and Montverde. Yeah, so that'll be kind of neat. Put us on the page too.
Well, I can tell you, as someone that had to take care of all the events for many years, I was really happy about 4th of July. We didn't have to do anything. But we have team now that can actually do it, and as part of their job. Huh, Sandy?
This is where you say, huh, what?
Volunteers
Oh, yeah.
don't work very well. But anyway, okay, we'll move on. We'll go. Our banking started with $5,457,778.61, ended with $5,155,571.57. Our grants in the bank right now is $5,652,469.59, and total is $10,499,214.19. I wanted to explain something that I've talked to Paul about, and I think we need to explain it. And Anita, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way our grant money that we have, except for the money that I explained here, is we don't get paid the money until we spend the money, right? So if we spend $500,000, then we submit for that to the grant to get refunded, right? Okay, well then I actually know more. But so why I wanted to explain that is I want the council to start thinking about it, and when Paul's here next meeting, we'll talk about it more. Is I personally think each grant needs its own P&L, as far not just what's on the regular P&L, but it has to show how much we're granted, how much we are we billed back to them, how much we've collected back so far, and how much is owed to us still. So that when you take that money that's owed to us still, you put it on top of the amounts I say here. Because we're going to have a lot of money laid out in the next 2 years, 3 years. There's $30 million just in the sewer, another $19 million in other things. So when you start getting that kind of money trading hands, all of us really need to be very aware where that money is and how we're getting reimbursed.
I like that idea, man.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
All right, so
Sam, you
next,
got that on a spreadsheet?
well, Maya will take care of it most likely, but,
Yeah.
oh, do you? Okay. No, that's what I was explaining. That's the money we have, but the other 45 million we haven't even started to spend on. But we are spending money on studies and things like that. And right this second, you know, on the sewer, for example, between the engineers and all that, we probably got, you know, $400,000 or $500,000 laid out. Well, that's money out of our pocket right now. So we should know how much is out there and how much and it's 4 or 5 different steps. So it has to be what we were granted, and this I'm throwing this out, what we spent, what we submitted for, what we reimbursed, and what we're still owed.
Sounds complicated, but it's not.
It's not,
It's not.
right, it's not. It's very easy to follow.
Very easy to do.
And you, each council person, if asked, should be able to say, I might not know the numbers, but I can tell them to you, and then give you the numbers. And then we just understand where we're at, so that when we get towards the end of the sewer, for example,
Good example.
right, we know how much money we got, how much the project's left, and, you know, we might have to start doing different things. But I don't want anybody to be surprised, especially the residents. I want everybody to be up to date on where the money's going. It's $49 million. Okay? It has to be watched. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's right here. Yeah.
But it's not there for the public.
We had no revenues, no expenditures.
No, this is the beginning balance right here. This is what they're doing. It's on your sheet. But it's similar, but not that.
Yeah, but this is gonna be for,
It's this right here you're showing right now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you see, their revenues is nothing, expenditures is nothing. but ending
Oh, all
balance
right.
is
That's what I
nothing.
just read off. That's
Yeah.
not there, but that's what we do normally. And then I'm asking for an extra step, and I just want to talk about when Paul's back. I didn't want to get him, you know, all beside himself before he went on
each
vacation.
account number, each project would have its own
Each one,
spreadsheet.
yes. Each grant.
I like it.
Each grant has their own. You probably do that in the county, you know, on the stuff you get reimbursed for, because it is tricky, you know. All right, I'm sorry I had to say that, but think about it, and
Well, that's
we'll talk about it next meeting when Paul's here. All right, I need to make a motion for approval on the minutes for June 4th, 2024, special meeting.
You wanna do the consent agenda together, or you do them separately?
I'd like to do them separately.
I'll make a motion, we approve, special meeting June 4th, 2024.
I got a
So
motion?
second.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Minutes for the regular meeting for June 11th, 24. Need a motion?
I so move June 11th, regular town council meeting be approved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. And last meetings, minutes for the June meeting on June 18th.
I move that we accept the meetings from the workshop on June 18th.
So second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Okay, ayes have it. Now we're going to go into a discussion on the proposed comp plan. And we're going to introduce somebody to you.
Yes, Mayor.
Go right ahead.
Once again, good evening. This is something that's very exciting for me, discussing comprehensive plan, because I'm a big believer, your planning team is a big believer in the comprehensive planning process for all the cities and the counties within the state of Florida. This is a process, and it's a document that is really important for you that represent, who represent the people, and for all the people here that we serve. It's important for you to know that this is an important document, because it is your vision, is sort of your constitution. You've heard me say that, of what you want to be as a town, and what are your goals over the next planning period. And in this case, Florida, it's typically a 20-year planning period. So it's a very important, and it is what you have heard me say, we have said, it's sort of the top-down document, the guiding document. Your land development regulations, which some of you love and some of you really hate, at times, we all do. They actually they originate from the comprehensive plan. They come from your vision. And those are more specific regulatory rules that come down from the vision of the town. Every single city, 500-plus cities, towns within the state of Florida are required to do this. All 67 counties are required to have a comprehensive plan. It's something Florida did back in the late 80s. That was, I thought, was very smart on their part, knowing how fast Florida was going to grow. And comprehensive planning has certainly taken off and is very much appreciated by the planners, even the engineers. Sometimes don't admit it. They like the comprehensive plans as well. Attorneys do too, because it is, again, it is the starting place for who you want to be and how you want to operate as a city, or a town in this case. Every 7 years, you've got to take a look at that, which we have been doing faithfully as your planning consultant for years now for Montverde. We've done that, and we take a look at that, we evaluate it, what needs to be updated, and we've made those changes, very basic updates at times. Not a lot of big changes to the comprehensive plan. Your comprehensive plan, by the way, it's, I'm exaggerating a little bit, it's about that thick. So it's got 11 elements in it. I'm going to give you a little introduction video here in a second. It's very big, and it can be very dry. It's also backed up by data, so we don't just make goals and objectives and policies willy-nilly. We try to back it up with data, population growth, real science data when it comes to conservation. So all that's part of your comprehensive planning process. And this is an old plan. Quite frankly, the town has an old plan. Not a lot of changes have been made. In fact, going through this, I found a reference to the old Florida Department of Natural Resources, which goes way back. Alan knows that, council member, how far that goes back. It had not been changed. So this has come up. The attorney, Anita, knows that we've had some statute changes in the state of Florida recently, where it requires us to extend the, I really appreciate the governor leading this effort. Quite frankly, to extend the planning effort, it really showed that he is a believer in the comprehensive planning process. So it meant that we had to extend our time frames out to 10 years. So all this little project that we're going to kick off tonight started out with a statutory requirement to change your comprehensive plan. But, you know, it's like once you start cleaning, you know, when you go around a house and you find something that you got to clean and fix, then something else shows up, and then something else, and then something else. So we know that we're kind of getting into that effect right now with the comprehensive plan. We're not proposing to rewrite it. Our planning team, again, I'll make an introduction here in a second. Proposing to entirely rewrite it, but what we want to do tonight is kick it off, explain what it is. You're not going to like me because I'm going to give you, they may like me, but I'm going to give you a lot of homework, the council members, on what to do. we're going to give them some homework as well in this process. We're proposing to make statutory changes, the time frames, and then update it, give it a fresh look, and then open it up to see if you have any changes, and open it up to the public as well to see if they have any changes as well. So I would like to start with the video. It has audio, so please let it play through, and then you can ask me any questions, and then we're going to make an introduction of our team that's going to help you and the residents through this process. So, Lisa?
You are watching the Town of Montverde's comprehensive planning informational video. The town is pleased to kick off the process.
You can't hear in the back.
To its very important plan for the future. In this video, we will discuss how comprehensive planning works in the town of Montverde and the state of Florida. The state of Florida has a unique approach to comprehensive planning. Every local jurisdiction in the state is required to have a comprehensive plan, and the state law provides details on the types of questions the plan should address. So, what is a comprehensive plan? The comprehensive plan is intended to take a holistic look at the many ways in which local government regulates and affects the built environment and ensures these elements are approached in an integrated and coordinated manner. The plan also provides a platform to communicate the community's goals to newcomers, builders and developers, businesses, and others with an interest in the town. The result is a set of policies that guide decisions and actions taken by the town on a regular basis from rezonings to infrastructure investments. The town of Montverde's comprehensive plan includes 11 elements. We will focus on several of the elements listed here: future land use, conservation, housing, transportation, and recreation and open space. These elements encompass how most people experience the town on a daily basis. They are supported by equally important technical elements that address infrastructure and implementation that make that everyday experience possible. Of course, the planning team will welcome comments on any element of planning in the town of Montverde. Where does the town plan apply? The comp plan is applicable to all residents and businesses within the town of Montverde. Why does it matter? The county's comp plan controls what can be built in the unincorporated areas, but Montverde has its own plan that regulates land use within its boundaries. So if you live in Montverde, should you care about Lake County's plans? Absolutely. You may patronize businesses that are located in the unincorporated areas or care about the function of conservation areas. In addition, there are other plan elements that are intended to benefit people, whether they are located in or traveling inside or outside the town, such as parks, recreation facilities, regional trails, and county roads. Finally, all county voters, whether in the town or the unincorporated area, elect the Board of County Commissioners and have a stake in the plans they approve and implement. How do we get from comprehensive planning, specifically the future land use element, to the construction you see as you travel around the town? We'll use a hypothetical example to outline this process. It all starts with a future land use map. In this case, let's say a property has a future land use of SFL, single family low density. This means it is designated as SFL on the town's future land use map. On this map, SFL is applicable to areas shown in yellow. Regardless of the existing zoning on a property, the future land use map indicates the town's vision for the future of an area. That means our hypothetical property owner can request rezoning to a range of zoning categories considered residential, including zones such as R1L, R1ILM, or R2. The comprehensive plan may also include conditions or guidelines describing more detail on the types of locations and circumstances in which each zone is most appropriate. For this example, we will assume the property is currently zoned agriculture and is approved for a rezoning to R1L, which is a zone that permits single-family homes. At this point, the town's land development code provides specific standards for how development and construction can occur for property zoned R1L. This includes standards for the size of lots, access roads, and other supporting infrastructure. The town's land development code also provides standards such as setbacks and height limits controlling how and where buildings can be constructed on each lot. This is just one example. There are many different future land use categories and zoning districts. One zoning category worth noting is planned development. Properties rezoning to planned development still have to adhere to the policies of the comprehensive plan and be consistent with a future land use map, but they may request alternative standards for how lots and buildings are configured, which are reviewed by the town staff. Thank you for watching. Your input is important throughout this process. Please visit our website to learn more and share your ideas for the vision.
All right, thank you. We would want to make that available to the town to put it up on the website. Again, we want to encourage people to participate, so we think that may be a good little introductory video, and you'll see our next steps, which we'll go over in a few minutes. But I would like to introduce our planning team, and then we'll touch on just a little bit of some of your homework and what we've proposed, some of the proposed changes that we've already are already presenting to you and to the public as well. But so of course, have a great team here, and you all know how great Lisa Busto is already. She has been a valuable part of our plan team and will continue to be a valuable part through this planning process. Did a great job helping to prepare that video. Also, of course, Anita, she's sitting right next to Lisa. Anita's going to be helping up throughout this process. We've obviously got to make sure that everything passes legal muster and that we're doing everything statutorily correct. So I want to thank Anita in advance of this process. But I'd also finally would like to introduce April Fisher, who is sitting over here to our right, who's got an interesting role for us to fill as well. So April, welcome. If you could introduce yourself.
I think I've got it. Okay, great. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm glad to be here. My name is April Fisher, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to get to work with Sean and with Lisa and with Anita on this project. I've got about 25 years of experience with land use planning, mostly in Florida, with local governments, whether it's county, city, and then also the private sector. So one of the things I've done is comprehensive plan updates, making sure that the policies go with what's in the Land Development Code, and the Land Development Code effectuates that. So I was pleased to be able to be a part of this team, and really my role is going to be one of QCing and just being an extra pair of eyes on the document. That's always a good thing, because sometimes when we look at our own stuff, we miss something because we think it's there. So I welcome any questions you might have for me, but I do look forward to seeing you as we work through this process. So thank you.
Thank you. And again, we're really pleased to have
Oh, you
April.
can leave it on. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, she's being super modest, but she's got quite a resume, and so she will be helping us with QA, QC, as well as just offering up any kind of innovative ideas that we may have. Those decisions, though, are still up to you and the residents. So we'll propose, we have experience, we'll propose ideas, we'll go over things, but ultimately that's going to be up to you who represent the people to make those decisions. So as far as what's going through this, I don't think we'll need more than just a couple hours tonight to go through some of my changes. You didn't catch that. We wouldn't mind talking a couple hours about it. We don't want to do that. But you'll see in your packet that we're bringing forward the first 5 elements. I think we touched on those in the presentation. Yes, sir.
Let's ask one question. In that video, you referenced single-family low density, and in the next paragraph, you started talking about R1L.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Single-family low density, that's R1L. Yeah, it is.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, it's a little confusing, I think, to some people. You're using 2 different references for the same thing?
Well, they can be a little different as far as the zoning designation versus the future land use category. They're pretty. This is a town that has set them up to where the land use category matches pretty close to the zoning category, but they are one's the broader single family residential reference, and then there's the R1L. Yeah, and to make it more confusing, there is an R1L, which is single family low density land use category, and there's also an R1L zoning.
And every city uses different terms.
Every city uses different terms.
Right.
Yes.
Clear as mud.
No, I know it is, and it's the way it is. But I don't we could change it, but I don't think you want to get into. It would be a very lengthy process to go ahead and start changing all the categories and give them. I guess we could give them a new name. It might be easier than I'm thinking.
I understand. It's just it's a little confusing to me, and I'm sure people who aren't familiar with it all, it's totally confusing.
Yeah.
When you're using separate designations for the same thing, right?
It is.
Is that basically what you're doing?
Well, and I think in that reference, we're referring to a broader category of single-family residential, which, yes, to answer, the short answer is it is confusing, but the zoning is R1L, so, yeah.
Low density, what does that refer to?
Low density,
Not as
yeah, so that would be, in the zoning, are you talking about the zoning or the land use category? It's basically no more than 2 units per acre, R1L. 2 units per acre, R1L, yeah.
Yeah, I think our concern would be in the density as to the amount of homes and housing that's being put into a place. Would it be safe to say that maybe I have them backwards, was it RL1
Mm-hmm.
is like the umbrella, and then the single-family home, low density kind of falls underneath that.
Yeah, what we could do, obviously that's a point of confusion, and this was written in the 91 or 92, maybe 93, and they haven't been changed since then. So I agree with you. I would have done something different, but we can look at this. We're starting the process off now, where we could change them and make it more clear. We could definitely do that. We don't want to. We want to be careful about taking away existing property rights, so we'd have to be careful in what we call them. But we could definitely look at.
Mine versus yours.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so what I'm saying is we can make that more clear. That's what we're here.
Right. I wouldn't
Yeah.
ask you to change anything.
Yeah.
Just clarify a little bit better. Because it just
I'm
changed.
with you.
In the video, it just went from one to the other without any explanation of okay, this is the same thing or what.
Yeah, and that's we're just going. That video was just going off of what you have currently. So yeah.
That's like everybody thinks 2 homes per acre, Montverde, 2 homes per acre. That's not true. It's 2 homes per acre gross.
Correct.
Everybody thinks it's 2 homes per acre, so each home has a half acre. That's not true.
There's not its lot size is different. Yes.
I lived here like 55 years before I realized that.
Yeah. So when
You weren't the only one using that one.
when you're looking at some of the significant things to change, and you can read through what we provided, trying to make it really easy for you. It's all underlined and bright yellow, highlighted. That's what's being proposed to be changed, whether it be something deleted or it's something added.
Sean, I see that throughout the document, though, it went from 5 to 10-year schedule. of
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, and the cause for that is?
That's the statutory change.
Okay.
We had to go to 10-year planning frame.
10-year
Planning window,
gotcha.
yeah. Yeah. We did make one density change right off the bat that I would think that you would probably like. In your high density, you actually have a high density land use category, which was 10 units per 1 acre. We are proposing to change that to a max of 5 units per 1 acre. So that's a high category. Honestly, I'm not sure you even have that on the map anywhere. You still have it as a category. So I wouldn't take it out of there, but.
Well, you do run across that.
Mhm.
People saying that I have 10 lots here, when you know that they don't have 10 lots. That was 10 lots when it was back when they were these little 50-foot lots for fish camps, for tents and everything. So yes, people still believe that in some areas,
Yeah.
on some of their
Yeah.
land.
Exactly. We also are proposing some changes to open space and make sure it's consistent. It was not consistent in a couple different elements of the comprehensive plan, so you'll see those changes as well, and making it very clear as to what open space is.
I also noticed that there's a couple, I only went through it as well as I could have. And so sometimes when you delete things and you're trying to go through a document, you're going, is there a new paragraph replacing it, and where would that be at?
Very astute. So you must be referring to the archaeological section that was
Yeah.
removed.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a note to that. It may not have made the document, but because of what the town did, I don't know if we can go back to this slide where it shows the elements. It may not, but one of the elements, you remember doing this a couple years ago, you added an archaeological and natural, archaeological and cultural resources element. It was duplicative. So up in the future land use element, you had some duplicative language, so we just took it out of there and made sure it was consistent with what you had already adopted in the new element, the cultural and archaeological resources element.
You also, of course, obviously, this is the first stab at it. You're going to be multiple variations, right?
Absolutely. This is just the start of it.
Okay.
So whatever, like the clarification, that's a great comment. It's being in notes. April's taking notes, and Lisa are taking notes, so that's something we're going to look at.
So there'd be things like, there's still reference to the town clerk does, and things like that that are archaic language. But mostly, when I go through a document, I love to be able to say, okay, reference, see page 43, where this has been replaced with new current language and placed in an area where it makes more sense, So rather than simply, oh, all that's deleted. And then you're going, where's, what replaced it? Or is it truly a deleted?
I will make sure that we have that for you, because the notes, I've actually personally added them, and we'll make sure that you get a copy that has the notes that explains when something's deleted, where it went, where it went to, or
And why?
and why. Yeah, exactly. Duplicative. I wrote duplicative in that case. Yeah.
Or like you said, maybe do colors. Yellow means it was taken completely off.
Hmm.
Green means
Yeah.
it's something like that.
Well,
We can do that too. We can color code it and try to make it as easy as
But you're
possible.
still going to need to know where it went, even if it's green.
We'll put a note there.
or
We'll-
statutory changes, it's not there anymore.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, we have the notes for that. It wasn't in this copy because these are the,
Rough drafts.
rough drafts. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Sean, back to my original question.
Yeah.
Look, you got a zoning designation that was single-family, low density, and a land use designation is RL, well, R1L, or whatever that was, right? Okay, for the same piece of property, right? Same property. Both meaning the same thing, but just called different things? Is that what I'm?
Well, you have a, I think we're referring to just a general category of single-family low density in that case, but you have an R1L land use and you have an R1L zoning as well. Yes, it's very, I know it's confusing, but
What's a single-family low? Was that a zoning or a land use designation?
that's a category of land use, of general category of low density residential.
So low density has
Well,
two
you just
houses.
said that was the RL1. Also,
Yeah.
are there instances where they contradict each other?
No, they're not. They'll match up to the zoning. Yeah.
So,
Well,
low-
planners gotta have their own language, like attorneys.
so
It
the
still
low,
doesn't make any
okay.
sense.
the low density would be 2 houses per acre, but the land use would, you could say, it's 2 houses per acre, but one house is only a quarter acre lot, the other's 3/4. They still fit the comp plan that would say 2 houses per acre.
That's true in that
So if the
situation. Yeah.
developer, like has been discussed over here, they want to do a 90 by 70, then they want lots that are 2.3 acres or whatever, that would still, under the umbrella, 2 per acre. Or it would be the low density, correct?
Right.
Is that assumption without mudding?
Yes. Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
One of the things that can make it easier sometimes is if you have a chart in the comprehensive plan that lists the future land use designations, and then you show the accompanying zoning districts that would apply to that. So then that becomes clear. In comprehensive plans, usually when you have future land use designation, that's your official overriding umbrella that's saying we expect this property to develop in the future at this density. And these are the zoning districts that'll go with it. The term land use alone really implies what's built at the time that's on the property when you do your comprehensive plan amendments. So it really is best to use the specific terms of future land use designation and then accompanying zoning district. And that can remove the confusion. So that could be something that we could do to make that simpler.
Now, if somebody came in here, for example, the people that bought the Osgood property, and they wanted to build something, and we decided that we didn't like it, and we changed it to each home had to have a half acre, that's when we're sending it to the state to change the future land use, right? The comp plan?
Yeah, and like in that particular case, if you annex something in, you're going to give it a land use category, and it does go to the state for review. If you want to have the specific requirement of half-acre lots, you need to make sure that's in the comp plan. I'm not sure I found where that is in the comp plan. I think it's in code somewhere.
No, I mean, if we do all this and get it all done, and a developer comes in, or anybody comes in and wants to do something different than our future land use says,
Correct.
that has to go through the whole process. And now the process only takes 60 to 90 days, usually.
That's right.
Where it used to take a whole year.
It used to be a lot longer. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the, I'm not being the wise guy or anything, but what's the point if anybody can walk in here and want to change it, and we agree to it.
Well, what's the point of the planning, or?
Yeah, well, you get all done with the comp plan, and you submit it to the state, right?
Yes.
Okay, and they say, okay, that's fine. And then 2 years later, somebody comes in here and wants to change 100 acres of it. The owner does, who knows?
Mhm.
And they are willing to pay for it to go through the whole comp plan change. And the council agrees with it, or only 3 of the council agree with it, but it still passes. Then, well, there's no point in doing it in the first place.
Well, Joe, I mean, nothing.
I know, I'm just saying.
Yes.
Nothing's set so far in concrete, or I should say,
Right.
granted, that we should be that way.
Well, what I'm getting at is there a way to make it more concrete?
Yeah, well, the comprehensive plan is, again, there's a lot of case law and statutes, and I mean, I've been involved as an expert witness on cases about how it is the guiding document.
Right.
And any development has to be consistent with your comprehensive plan. So that's why you want to be involved with this. That's why, they want to be involved with it too, because it is your vision. And so that's why you would want to go through the process again. Yeah, you could find somebody that's willing to go through, and they found 3 votes, and y'all are gone. Yeah, I suppose that is possible, but, to you and the public, that's why local elections matter, and you stay vigilant every 2 years. There's really nothing else you can do.
Mm-hmm.
There is due process that somebody's entitled to. They can ask for whatever. Somebody could always come in and ask for a comp plan change. Doesn't mean you have to grant it.
I guess my next thing was, what I was eventually getting to was, if the town's already built out, the town's built out. So what can you do? You see what I'm saying? So we
Well,
technically have,
They can always buy a block and tear it down and build a new stuff.
They could.
That happens in cities all the time.
yeah, no, I've seen it in
old
California a lot.
cities.
In California, it happened quite a bit, and what I'm getting at is, if it's all built out, we got 58 acres here, 111 here, 37 and a half here. Those are the big lots. 2 of them are moving. One isn't at the moment, but the one that isn't, Bella Clean is trying to buy. They made $11 million offer on it, 37 and a half acres, and the owner turned it down. So anyway, there's only one big customer for that one. So they're going to buy it eventually. What's left to build in town that has enough space that we worry about? This is how I think. So we got the place over there on Lake and Ridgewood, those big lots there. Where else though?
Mm-hmm.
So when we're doing this whole comp plan, I think the council, especially myself, I'm going to be focused on that. How to build the whole town out the way we want it. And then it'd be super difficult to build anything we wouldn't want.
Yeah, and I would say that, there's things will change, and 20 years is a short time, but it's also a long time. And you'll have redevelopment to think about. Things change the way things are constructed. There's still a lot of people moving in to Florida. These are all. There's other elements besides that. I know everybody gets focused on what is the density of a particular parcel of land and what are we going to allow, but there's a lot to how you grow and what your town looks like beyond that density question. So other elements of the comprehensive plan you should be thinking about.
But that's, Joe has a good point, but I also see the comp plan in lieu of the fact that if we don't set the foundation now, it's open to whatever the wind blows and whatever the 3-2 council vote would be in any given time. But as long as you have our comp plan that says, for this period of time, we shall, and that's what we do, that makes it difficult for people to come in and say, well, maybe we can tweak this and pull some strings and change some votes and elections and get these people in. But that kind of throws it back, like you said, to the community. Now they got to be involved. If they don't step up to the plate, then you got what you didn't fight against, shall we say.
That's right.
but it's not difficult enough. That's what my point is. It needs to be, it needs, like right now, we don't have to worry about that one thing that Mineola and Claremont are getting crazy about because they had a lot of industrial and a lot of commercial. Well, the state passes a law, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, Nita, but state passes a law that says now a developer can build anything or anything they want pretty much on industrial and do not have to come back and change the comp plan, do not have to ask for any zoning or anything. So the state just took it on themselves to change all of Hancock if they want to, because it's all industrial. And that's pretty doggone close to us. So, you know, I'm staying in Bob because it's on both. It's going to eventually affect us. And Mineola isn't friends with it. And then he also, in that same thing that the state did, they said they can't build anything higher than what's already previously there. Or our law or rule is 35 feet. You couldn't change your rule. You had to stay with the rule you had. It's 35 feet. So we're blessed there. And we have 0 industrial and very little commercial. So no, I'm not worried about that here. But guess what? The citrus tower is awful high. You know, and the things in Claremont are already built up. So they have a tremendous problem. So I'm trying to figure out how we can adjust our, whatever you might want to call them, I don't remember, but whatever we have, using the comp plan a little bit to make it tough, make it real hard to change what we don't want to change it to.
Yeah, so you're talking about our policy, the policies that are in the comprehensive plan. Yeah, you'd like to
But
make.
the comp plan can be changed with 3 votes. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, and that's.
And there's no
it's-
doing around it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are some, Anita, you tell me if I'm wrong, April maybe too, but there, you know, there are supermajority situations that, you know, I think with some things you could set up maybe with, you know, some larger thresholds on development decisions. So that's something we could certainly look at. You know what I mean by supermajority, 4 votes instead
Yeah.
of 3 to make a major change.
Well, that's why I go back to the council understanding I really want to build out the big properties we have right now. So we build them the way we want to build them and be done with it. And that'll protect us the best way.
Yep.
Unless somebody has a better idea, I don't know. Is there a button there?
Okay, yeah, now I can hear me better. So with the comprehensive plan, you can put in some criteria that make it very difficult for someone who's proposing to change a land use, that they have to show you that there's a need. So if they want to take something from commercial to residential and you don't want residential or vice versa. So if you build in criteria, that's what staff would have to evaluate the application against. So it can make your job easier and the community's job easier because you can point to your comp plan what it has in it. Yes, the comprehensive plan can always be changed, but it still has to go through that arduous process of going to the state to change that. So a comprehensive plan amendment. So if you have a development that comes in and whatever is in the comprehensive plan at that time is what would have to, the application would have to be held to. So it just depends on the timing of those processes. But if you build them in now, it strengthens your ability to guide that development.
But 3 votes change it, no matter what. it goes to the state after we vote yes.
That's true.
And
So-
I don't see the state stopping it, but can you repeat what you said, please, about the charter?
Yes, sir. So, as an example, when I worked for Seminole County government, and they were trying to preserve rural lands, when there was a lot of pressure for development out in the east rural area, so the project that we did is the board decided we need to be able to control this and not a 3-2 vote. So it had to be a ballot initiative, but it was successful. And so now in the Board of County Commissioners charter in Seminole County, if you want to change the land use in the east rural area, it's not a 3-2 vote. It's a much higher threshold. So that's where you would effectuate that, would be in your charter. I don't have knowledge of your charter, but that would give the ability to preempt a 3-2 situation. So that's something you could consider. It would be outside of the land use or the comprehensive plan process, but you could certainly do that.
Well, how do you feel about that, Anita?
It would require a charter amendment, and so you've been through that process before, and we have to put it on the ballot, and the voters have to vote. We would need to also look at new legislation to see if there's anything that may prohibit that, because there's been a lot of preemptions to the state, and so we want to make sure we don't run afoul of something new that may have come out. But we can certainly look at it if that's something you're interested in.
Well, if it's okay with the council, why don't we all think about it till next meeting and then give direction if you like it or not, to look at it.
I look on it like a stagnant government, and we get to a point like we're Congress. You can't seem to accomplish anything.
Well, I'm happy, I personally,
you're
I
trying to
trust everybody
resist it.
here,
You're
but
trying to resist it.
I don't
somebody
trust the
coming in.
people that are gonna replace us.
Well, I guess it's my favorite saying, but I won't say it.
And, I mean, we could do this with just a higher threshold for this one item. Yes, it wouldn't change anything else in existence. That would be right.
Are you talking about a super majority vote? So you would, if you changed it in the charter, it would be something, would require a super majority for any comprehensive plan change,
But
I guess.
just for the comprehensive change.
Yeah, just for the comprehensive, yeah. And it is good to do it that way. I mean, at the county, there was talk of maybe doing it within part of our comprehensive plan, but you get, then it's a 3-2 vote to overcome the 4-1 vote. So you don't want, if it's in the charter, I don't know
Wake
if that
up,
was me or
everybody.
lightning, but,
Wake up.
What do you mean by a 3-2 vote?
well, we used to joke about that situation, not to get us off track here, but if you had a 3-2 vote to overcome the 4-1 vote that you just put in law, so it's in the charter, then that's doubly good because it avoids that.
Oh, so what we're thinking, what we need to go home and think
You need to
about
do the charter.
is make it a super majority vote, and it's in our charter that we have to do that to change the comp plan,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
I like it.
That has to go on the ballot?
It's in the charter.
Yes.
Yeah, the charter changes have to be voted on by residents.
Right.
Right.
And what would be the deadline to get that on the ballot for November? Or
Oh,
we
wouldn't
passed
be this
it?
time.
We would not be able to.
No, too fast.
Besides, last time, we had some outstanding charter changes, and we only passed it by, 20 votes? Something like 19, 17 votes or something?
But there was only like
And
110
they were
people.
outstanding charter changes for the betterment of this community.
But it was only like 110 people showed up
Yeah,
to
well,
vote.
you still,
So 20's a lot.
Yeah. But besides the charter change, you can make a lot of changes to your comprehensive plan, some of which we have outlined in your homework, as I've called it, for you to look through. And you'll see that we have our next steps. We're going to have another workshop where we'd like to go through the final 6. I'll bring this closer. I don't know if it's...
I gotta make myself notes while I'm still got it in here.
Yeah. Try to get the mics fixed here.
Yeah, we got some grant money for that?
Okay, I'm sorry. No, but, so if you guys wouldn't mind going home, giving it a lot of thought, we want to change the charter where it takes a super majority to change the comp plan, and we get the residents to understand that and vote on that. So that no matter who sits here, that's the process.
Well, can I throw some mud into this crystal clear river? One thing that hit me, and we have 234 new homes, and we have potential behind us. Osgood, a whole lot more homes. You have to realize that just because they live in Montverde, they don't bring their way of, we want to keep it this way. And that's potentially a real ticking time bomb that we assume, and that's a bad thing to say, assume that everybody wants it like this. And you may have those who say, well, I'm here, but I sure like the way it used to be from where I was from, and we don't do it that way. And you end up, man, our charter change just blew up in our face, and now we went 3 steps backward. How do we recuperate and change that? That's something that kind of, we've got Willow Ridge, we've got behind us. Yeah.
I kind of agree with you on that one.
But everybody,
Careful about opening those boxes.
yeah, everybody that I've talked to gets here after 6 months, they're like, close the gate.
Yeah.
I've been here, I'm here, close the gate.
Pretty much.
They're not talking about open the gate wider, you know? So I don't think we'll have a problem with that myself. The majority are gonna say, we'd like the town the way it is.
And it's like,
But
It's a good thought.
anytime you do more and more people, they're going to have a right to assess whether they like the way it works. So,
We've got that now.
good and bad.
And again, I'm not worried about this group. I'm worried about next group, and the next group after that. I need to have more guidance with them.
I would agree with you, Joe, if we had a lot of undeveloped land. But I think you said it right. We don't have a lot of undeveloped land. We don't have a lot of risk here. So,
Well, I guess we can go through this and decide if we need to go further with that.
that's a good point.
How's that?
Yeah.
yeah, we can let, as usual, we can let them decide what they want to do with the charter. So we'll bring it to them, wrap it in a bow. If they don't want to unwrap it, then
It's kind of hard to communicate, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But-
I don't want to hold you up, but
But what you want to definitely do, of course, we have to make some statutory changes, but you want to look through all this. We've got some input from tonight on some things that we can work on to make changes. And then the supermajority is a separate item. Yeah, you could bring that for charter next year as well. And that would sort of doubly lock down the changes that you've made in the comprehensive plan.
that's a good point. We got plenty of time to think about it and talk about it right now.
Yeah, to do it, but.
So that's it?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I didn't want to go through, I picked out the big items, it's open space, it's some clarification on, mostly open space. There's some inconsistencies between the future land use element and the conservation element. Those are the first 5 tonight. We've got the 6 more that will come at this second workshop. What's important is we'd like to get all this done by the end of the year. So we're having an adoption hearing you see on the next steps. You have an adoption hearing of all 11 elements, your entire comprehensive plan, the changes, sometime in December where we're doing the final adoption. So there's a transmittal that occurs before that and then adoption. And this has got to go to planning and zoning as well. So we're going to get the input from the planning and zoning board as well. But again, the homework is read. I know it can be very dry, but read through it. Let us know. You can email us the changes, any kind of proposals, any comments that you have, that suggestions that we need to focus on. Start there. This will be available for the public on the website, and the video, not only that, but then our proposed changes, so that they have a chance to provide input as well.
On the Montverde side or the county side?
Montverde side. The county side was mentioned. I put that in there because it's important for you to know that we at the county are also we're just starting to redo the entire comprehensive plan. So
Wow.
I wanted that to be in there just so you knew that they kind of gonna go together as well. So you may want to think about your comprehensive plan and how it, what it'll reference, how it'll reference and work with the county as well.
John, you just said something. I'm going to ask, this just hit me, so this is for you and Anita. Comp plans, conflict of interest or conflict between county and a municipality, who wins?
Municipal annexation law, if it's annexed, would be the town or the city, if it's going into the town or city, yeah. You already are working on this. Anita and Paul know this, but we're and Lisa too. But we're working on the joint planning agreement, and I would like to have that reference throughout the comprehensive plan as well. That'll be a change that we make. Yeah. Clear as mud.
No,
There's
it's a
mine.
good
We'll
start.
get your changes. I understand. I think I know what you're talking about. It's, again, Councilmember, it's referent, if you read the comp plan, there's a reference. It says single-family, low-density. There's no R1L in here, but the maps say R1L and then make it even more conflicted or confusing. The zoning is also R1L. So I get it. We'll work a way, we'll try to find a way to make that more clear.
That's
Well,
like around,
We trust you know what you're doing, okay?
Well, and we got, between the four of us, we'll definitely,
that's kind of like a roundabout and a four-way stop sign. You both get where you're going, but it's a whole lot different when you go around the circle versus make a left turn, go straight or right. So,
yes,
yeah, that's,
yeah.
Can you do like a R1LZ and a R1LP?
I don't know. We'll put our heads together and just see if we can come up with something that's just a little more intuitive and plain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why can't it be the one designation for everything?
Yeah, just make everything.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen that. This is different. There's the beauty in this, in the one way that the zoning almost matches the land use, and I guess that was their thought back then, was to keep it simple like that. Now, a lot of comprehensive plans, a lot of counties are doing this, but they're reducing the number of categories, land use categories, but they're going to form-based codes. We're going to actually look at a hybrid of that at the county. We won't confuse that here, but because I don't think you need that, but yeah.
All right. That's good.
You made it through your first comprehensive plan workshop. I
Thanks.
will stop here unless you have any more questions. And if I can't answer them, I'll just send them to Anita, April, or Lisa.
chicken.
April, you want to say anything more? No? All right. Okay. All righty. Well, thank you very much. I guess we can move on till 7, if you would please, Anita, with 2024-37.
An ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Montverde, Florida, amending provisions in Chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinances relating to procurement applicable for public buildings, utility structures, or other construction projects or electric work, and certain professional services, providing for codification, severability, and conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Would it be easy enough for you to explain that?
Sure. This is the second reading. You
I thought it was
approved
a
it.
second reading.
Yes.
I kept saying, I voted on this already one time.
Correct.
We voted, yeah.
You voted to approve it at the first reading. This is the second reading. And this is just to fill in the gaps for statutory requirements for procurement and to provide some guidelines for those things that are less than a certain monetary threshold so that we can use certain processes when evaluating what you're purchasing, services, electrical, and this will assist as we move forward with the construction of the wastewater system.
Okay, so this is saying for certain dollar amounts, you don't have to go out and get 60 bids.
Right, it says what the procurement process is. Some are just informal quotes, you have to get 3. Some they have to be sealed bids. Of significance for this, which is very important, is to allow for a request for proposal. That's the procurement method for a design build that we would like to be able to use for the utility system. And so that has to be adopted by ordinance in order to use that method.
And once we read it and vote on it, and if it passes, then we're done with this one, right?
Correct. This is second reading, so if you approve it, then it will be codified in your code.
All right, open it up for the public. Okay, I'll bring it back to council. Any conversation?
Can I
Ye-
bring something to
yeah,
John?
please.
John, didn't you have some comments on this earlier, last time?
I did. It was just basically, trying to get things moving along so we didn't have to, stop and look for approval and meanwhile,
Yeah.
sitting waiting.
The operational side, you're right, versus the accountant side. Yes.
And our small projects are hard to bid because there's so much work out there right now, nobody wants to do them.
Yeah. True.
That's what the bottom line is, why we're doing it. Mostly is, nobody wants to build an 8,000 square foot building.
Right. Maybe give 80,000 somewhere.
Yep.
Okay.
All righty, anybody else here? I need a motion.
I so move ordinance 2024-37 be approved.
I
I'll
need-
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Ayes have it. If you would, please, 2024-119.
A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Montverde, Florida, approving the interlocal agreement between Lake County, Florida and the Town of Montverde relating to use of library impact fees fiscal year 2024-2025, which awards the Town of Montverde additional funds not to exceed $28,000 for the purchase of startup circulation materials, shelving, bookcases, and furniture for the new library, providing for an effective date.
So that way I understand this is, they're gonna give us a $28,000 grant, and we have to accept it.
You should accept it.
Yes.
Yes. So
Well, we do
you're
have to
eligible
stay in
for up
10
to
years
$1
or
million
something.
in library impact fees, and they've awarded you a total of 920 or 972,000 in impact fees. So the remaining 28,000 would get you to the maximum, and you need the funds for the library. So we recommend approval.
All righty.
But in reading this, Anita,
Yes.
that 28,000 is included in the first group.
972.
No, it's beyond.
This is additional.
Okay. And but that includes that, what, we usually get about 25,000 a year from them?
No, that's something
No,
totally
that's
different.
different.
Totally different,
Okay.
yeah.
That's operational
Yeah.
funding.
Okay, which animals be
Right,
now?
yeah, no, I understand. It's confusing. So you actually read it?
Huh?
You read it?
I read it. Yep. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Don't
All righty,
get to us now.
Open it up to the public. Should we or should we not take $28,000 for nothing?
Great.
Okay, I'll bring it back to council. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we pass 2024-119 as written.
Second.
I'll give you your second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say
That's an
nay.
easy one.
Okay, just real quick, that's it for us. So if you guys got something you want to talk to the council about, do
Come on
anybody?
down.
One more time. All righty, sorry about dinner.
Happens.
Motion's adjourned.
We'll make it up
Motion
next
to
month.
adjourn, yep. I need a second.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye, go home.
And say nay.
Would you
Nay.
just,
I'll do the Billy. Nay. So don't forget to get Anita this back.